Okay, so this is a video of what we would have done in class on Tuesday, but class is canceled. Math 121, week 3. And this is 1.6, rational equations and radical equations. So we are starting with solving rational equations. So a rational equation is an equation that has fractions, basically. So if it has like an x on the bottom. So what we're going to do, my first example, is I'm going to put it over 1. And these are different examples that are in the weekly videos. This is just extra. So I'm going to find my least common denominator. My least common denominator is over here. Sorry, I'm having to get my act together. 1 second. I just found out class was canceled and I needed to do this. Okay. So my least common denominator, what I do is I have to put everything on the bottom. So I have to put a 3 and I have to put an x minus 1. And then I'm going to multiply the 3 and the x minus 1 on all the tops. So I'm going to do times 3 times x minus 1 times 3 times x minus 1 times 3 times x minus 1. And now, just to make sure you kind of know what I'm doing, I am going to rewrite this first one. So I would have, sorry, struggle on here just like I struggle in class. So I have 3x minus 1 over 3 times 3 times x minus 1 minus 2x over x minus 1 times 3 times x minus 1 equals, whoops, not what I was trying to do, sorry, equals x times 3 times x minus 1. And technically that's over 1, okay? So next step is to cancel anything on top and bottom that is the same. So the 3's cancel, the x minus 1's cancel, and the 1 cancels with nothing, but it's just not understood to be there. So what I have is I have 3x minus 1 times x minus 1 minus 2x times 3 equals 3x times x minus 1. Okay. Then I'm going to fold this out. So that's 3x squared minus 3x minus 1x plus 1 minus 2x times 3 is 6x equals 3x times x minus 1 would be 3x squared minus 3x. So combine the like terms. So that's 3x squared minus 4x plus 1 minus 6x equals 3x squared minus 3x. I get all my x squareds on one side. They actually cancel on this one. So I have negative, hold on, I'm going to combine my like terms. So that's a negative 4x and a negative 6x makes a negative 10x plus 1 equals negative 3x. Move my 10x over. So 1 equals 7x. Divide by 7. So x equals 1/7. Now, for rational functions, there's a rule. Okay, you cannot divide by 0. So if you look at what you had to begin with, okay, you look at your bottoms. You had an x minus 1 on the bottom. So the rule is that x cannot be 1, okay? So as long as my 1/7 is not 1, I'm good. So that's my answer. Okay, all right. Now here's one that says obviously it leads to a quadratic equation. So step 1, if I was writing steps, would be to factor the bottoms. Only the bottoms. So what can I factor on the bottom there? I can take an x out of this one, then find your LCD. So step 2 would be find LCD. So my LCD is the least common denominator has to have everything on the bottom, but you do not have to repeat it. So you see how I have an x minus 2 twice? And I have an, same color. Come on now. I'm clicking you. Thank you. I have an X. Shoot me. X and an X. Okay. So my least common denominator, I have to have an X and I have to have an X minus 2, but I do not have to put it twice. So I want to see if you can kind of see that. Okay. I don't have to write it twice. If it's included, once I've put it, I do not need to put it again. So this one, I'm not going to write all the way out. I'm going to that's not good mathematical language. Multiply the LCD on all the tops. So I'm going to multiply and make it bigger. The X, better not. You know what? I'm going to write it out. I'm sorry. So I would do my bad, guys. This, my little, you can't see it, but I have like a little thing that's telling me about my video and it's getting in my way. So I have a 3x plus 2 and an x minus 2. And then I have a 1 and an x. And then I have a negative 2 and an x minus 2. That's the original problem. So now on all the tops, I'm going to put times x and x minus 2. I did not leave myself enough space. That was absolutely pointless. It's okay. Then I cancel anything on top and bottom. That's the same. I did not ask to add a comment. Undo. Don't know what I just did. Go away. And then x minus 2 and x. So what do I have left? I have a 3x plus 2 and an x. Sorry. I'm still at the high school. 1 and x minus 2, and then equals negative 2, because that's all that's left. So that, I don't know what that is, and I really want it to go away. I don't want to comment. Go away. Okay. So that's 3x squared plus 2x plus 1x minus 2. Combine like terms. So 3x squared plus 3x minus 2 equals negative 2. I add 2. The 2's cancel. So I have 3x squared minus 3x equals 0. I factor it. What can I factor out of that? I can take out a 3x, and I would have x minus 1. I set them both separately equal to 0. So I have divide by 3. 0 divided by 3 is 0. Oh my gosh. Add 1. X equals 1. Now, feel free to slow me down, speed me up, whatever you want to do. I do need to check to see if those are any of the answers that I cannot have. The answers that I cannot have, I can't have x minus 2. So x can't be 2. And I can't have x. So x can't be 0, but I have a 0. So I have to throw it away. So my answer is just x equals 1. Be careful on that delta math, because some of them will give you that second answer, and that's all it is you just have to check it to make sure it's not one of the answers that you cannot have. Okay. Ow. So now, let's see. Moving on. Okay, now radical equations is the next thing we're going to look at. This is kind of a rough day to miss to become e-learning, and I hope all y'all are staying safe. Okay, so for an equation containing a radical, here's the kind of the steps. So it says to isolate the radical on one side. So we're going to move the square root over. When you cross the line, you change the sign. Then you're going to square both sides. So squared, squared. So x squared equals 15 minus 2x. Get everything on one side and factor it. So when you cross the line, you change the sign. So I have an x squared. It was a negative 2x. Now it's a positive 2x. It was a positive 15. Now it's a negative 15. When I see 3, S and P. I can use my shortcut here. But I kind of want to work it all the way out. for those of you that struggle with that. So that's a negative 15x squared. I want to know what multiplies to give you negative 15 and adds to give you a positive 2. That's going to be a 5 and a negative 3. So that'll be x squared plus 5x minus 3x minus 15. Group, group. I can take out a x plus 5, minus I can take out a 3, x plus 5. These are always the same, so it's x plus 5 and x minus 3. Set it equal to 0, so x is negative 5 and x is positive 3. Now, you always have to check your answers. Okay, sometimes on a radical equation, sometimes one of them will work, sometimes both of them will work, sometimes none of them will work. So I'm going to check both of them. Now you check it by just plugging it back in to the original everywhere there's an x. Okay, so I'm going to do negative 5 minus the square root of 15 minus 2 times negative 5 equals 0. So negative 5 minus 15 plus 10 is 25. Negative 5 minus 5. Negative 10 does not equal 0, so that one's not it. So 3 minus the square root of 15 minus 2 times 3. 3 minus the square root of 15 minus 6. 3 minus the square root of 9. 3 minus 3. That does equal 0, so that one works. So I throw away the negative 5, and my answer is the 3. I'm going to grab a drink of water, sorry. Okay. Okay. These are the hard ones. Super duper long, crazy questions. Okay. So if I was going to write steps on these, I really want this little stupid, y'all can't see it, but the little tab is getting on my everlasting nerve. It's like all up in my way. Like I just want it. Uh-oh. Oh. Huh. I can minimize it. Okay. So I did not know that. So I'm going to minimize it. Well, that's awesome. It's still recording. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Okay. So step 1, get one of the square roots by itself. Radicals. Hold on. So I'm going to move the square root of x plus 1 to the other side. Step 2, square both sides. So I'm going to square both sides. So 2x plus 3 equals, now squared by definition means write it twice. And I'm going to FOIL it. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times the square root of x plus 1 is 1 square root of x plus 1. Square root of x plus 1 times 1 is 1 square root of x plus 1. Square root of x plus 1 times the square root of x plus 1 is the square root of x plus 1 squared. So then you have one of them plus one of them makes two of them. And then the squared and the square root cancel. Equals 2x plus 3. Step 3, combine like terms on each side. So this one is 2x plus 3, nothing changes there. But on the right side, I have a 1 and a 1 makes a 2. So I have a 2 plus 2 square root of x plus 1 plus x. Step 4, get radical alone. So anything that's not the radical, I minus the x from both sides. So that's 1x. I minus the 2, I minus the 2, plus 1 equals 2 square root of x plus 1. Step 5, square both sides. So I square both sides. Okay. So I write it twice, x plus 1, x plus 1. This one, this side, I'm squaring both sides. So if I write it twice, I would have 2, you know what, I'll just write it twice. 2 squared of x plus 1 times 2 squared of x plus 1. The left side I foil because I have a binomial times a binomial. Like, you see that plus sign right there and right there? That says I have to foil it. This one does not have a plus sign, so he does not have to be foiled. That's the difference between, make sure you see that. This one had a plus, this one doesn't. So these two I had to foil. These two I don't. So I'm going to fold this out. That'll be x squared plus 1x plus 1x plus 1. Oops, that's a 1. Equals, I just multiply on the right. 2 times 2 is 4. And the square root of x plus 1 times the square root of x plus 1 is just x plus 1. So what I could have done is I could have just distributed my 2. 2 squared is 4. The square root of x plus 1 squared is x plus 1. I just want to make sure that you see why you have to do it there and not on the first one. So that's going to be 4x plus 4 and x squared plus 2x plus 1 minus 4x minus 4. So x squared minus 2x minus 3. When you see 3, S and P. So I'm going to go ahead and use my shortcut on this one because I got no space. So I want to know what multiplies to give you negative 3 and adds to give you negative 2. So x minus 3, x plus 1. So that's 3 and negative 1. Now, let me go all the way back up to the top because I do have to check them. Okay, so I'm going to check 3, and then I'm going to check negative 1. Okay, so if I check 3, and remember that I am plugging it back in everywhere there's an x. So it'd be the square root of 2 times 3 plus 3 minus the square root of 3 plus 1 equals 1. And for negative 1, it'd be 2 times negative 1 plus 3 minus the square root of negative 1 plus 1 equals 1. So 2 times 3 is 6 plus 3 is 9. The square root of 9 minus the square root of 4. So 3 minus 2 equals 1. That one worked. Okay, so 3 is an answer. And then this is 1 minus 0 equals 1. 1 minus 0 equals 1. That one worked too. So they both work. Okay, that one was a lot. I know, I'm sorry. It is what it is. It's part of our curriculum, so we have to cover it. Example 5, solving an equation with cube roots. This one, we could just move that cube root over. This one's easier. Just move that cube root of x to the other side and then cube both sides. And the cube root and the cubed cancel out. So you just have 4x squared minus 4x plus 1 equals x. Get all your x's on one side. 4x squared minus 5x plus 1 equals 0. When you see 3, S and P. Negative 5x, 4 times 1 is 4x squared. What multiplies to give you 4 adds to give you negative 5. That'd be a negative 4x and a negative 1x. Bring down the 4x squared minus the 4x minus the 1x plus the 1. Group. So 4x, x minus 1, minus 1, x minus 1. So I have x minus 1 and 4x minus 1. So if you set them both equal to 0, let me come over here. X minus 1 equals 0. Add the 1. X equals 1. And then 4x minus 1 equals 0. Add the 1. Divide by 4. X equals 1/4. And you do not have to check a cube root. So both of those answers should work fine. Rational exponents. To get rid of a rational exponent, you raise it to the reciprocal. I'll write that down. Raise to reciprocal. And remember that when you see to the 5/3, I don't know if y'all, I didn't put this in the prerequisite stuff, I probably should have. If you have x to the a over b, that's the same as the b x to the a, okay? So if you raise it to the reciprocal, everything cancels, you just have x. So I have 27 to the 5/3. So let's talk about how to simplify that. That is the cube root of 27 to the 5th. So the cube root of 27 is 3 because it's 3 and 9 and 3 and 3. And if it's a cube root, you're looking for groups of 3. So it's 3 to the 5th. And I don't know off the top of my head what that is. I'm going to grab my phone and I'm going to ask it because I don't know. 3 to the 5th. 243. Uh-oh. I hit the button. Sorry. Okay. This one, you raise both sides to the 3/2. So x minus 4 equals 16 to the 3/2. So x minus 4 equals the square root of 16 cubed. So the square root of 16 is 4 cubed equals x minus 4. So x minus 4 equals 64. Add 4. X equals 60. Oh, last one. Now we're going to look at solving an equation in quadratic in form. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to S&P. When I see 3, S&P. So negative 11x squared multiply 12x to the 4th times 2 is 24x to the 4th. I want to multiply what multiplies. I want to know what multiplies to give you 24 and adds to give you negative 11. That's going to be a negative 8x squared times a negative 3x squared. Will a negative 8x squared minus 3x squared give me 11? Yes, it will. So I bring the first one down, replace the middle, and then bring the last one down. And that's where, in my personal opinion, factoring by grouping is the superior method because it works for everything. What can I take out of 12 and 8? Biggest number is a 4. I have an x to the 4th and an x squared, so I can take out an x squared. 4 goes into 12, 3. 4 goes into 8, 2. I bring down my sign, minus. I can take a 1, 3. 1 goes into 3, 3. And then a negative 1 goes into a positive 2, a negative 2 times. They are the same. So it's 3x squared minus 2 and 4x squared minus 1. Now, what I do is I set those both separately equal to 0. So I have 3x squared minus 2 equals 0 and 4x squared minus 1 equals 0. So I add 2. 3x squared equals 2. Divide by 3. Take the square root. X equals plus or minus the square root of 2/3. Add 1. Divide by 4. Take the square root. X equals plus or minus the square root of 1 is 1. The square root of 4 is 2. Now this one, I like that answer. I think it's fine, but sometimes Delta Math gets mad at it. So I'm going to simplify the square root of 2 over 3. That is the same as the square root of 2 over the square root of 3. So you have to rationalize your denominator. You can't leave a square root in the bottom. So you times by the square root of 3 on top and bottom. And that's the square root of 6 over the square root of 9, which is the square root of 6 over 3. So my answers would be x equals positive square root of 6 over 3, negative square root of 6 over 3, positive 1/2, negative 1/2. And that is the end. Am I videoing still? Yes.